It's amazing what people do to get on this show. People have quit ESPN just so they can be on the program. Peter Gammons did it. Scott Van Pelt was trying. My God, he was trying. He wanted to be on the show, and he couldn't do it. Michelle Beadle quit so she could be on the show. Erin Andrews, the latest, to quit ESPN so she could be on the program. Erin, congratulations, and welcome to the program.
Thank you. You know, I remember just a couple days ago crying on the streets of New York City, calling you, waiting for you to call me back to give me some advice, so I appreciate it.
Did you just wake up?
No, are you kidding? I've been answering emails, and I've been studying for the All-Star game.
Oh,
I was trying to do my voice like you. It sounded very Delilah-ish.
Ooh. Okay, can you go Demi Moore?
In what way?
I mean, raspy voice?
Oh, no, I'm terrible at that. Please, come on. Everyone makes fun of my voice. It's very nasally.
Yeah.
I realize I have a big nose. It's my grandfather. Come on now, everyone. Be kind.
Okay. But you
First of all, can we get one thing out of the way?
Yeah.
I was an amazing secretary for you, and that's my boy. Thank you. Forget your hair. How about your secretary?
You were great.
Thanks.
You did a great job. Well, thanks for joining us, Erin. We appreciate it. All right. Well, good luck at Fox.
Well, thank you.
Okay, how difficult was that? Did you have a scene like I did where you go into management and they say take it or leave it, and then you say I'm going to leave it, and then you walk out the door?
No, I mean, I barely was in Bristol anyways, like you. No, it wasn't like that. I mean, it was very hard, and you know that. I mean, I've told a lot of people. I called you. I talked to Rich. I talked to a lot of people from both Fox and ESPN. It was very hard, very, very hard. And I'm not going to repeat, the word for word what you told me, but I think it was true. It was time I got a kick in the rear, and I'm a very competitive person. I need to just keep working and get better, and I think that was the biggest thing.
But staying there is easy, and I think that's what Scott Van Pelt went through, that he realized it's easier to stay there, but there had to be a moment where you said, I can be comfortable and do this for another 4 years or however long I want to do it, or I can leave. What was the reason why you said, okay, now I'm going to leave ESPN?
Well, there wasn't just a moment. There was an entire month that I was sitting there doing the pros and cons list like Ben Stiller and Along Came Polly. It was awful. I think the final straw was just, it's a different mentality a little bit over there, but I think the biggest reason is I have a chance to work in the NFL. I have a chance to work, baseball playoffs. I have a chance to do all these events that I wouldn't be able to do if I stayed at ESPN, and I don't want to look back and think to myself, all right, it's just going to be something that I regret down the way.
Erin Andrews of Fox joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Let's be honest. Do we really need sideline reporters?
Yes. Absolutely. And, I don't think we need sideline reporters in terms of the fluffy stories that you can read in the newspaper and that you read on Wednesday and then, it's being reported on Saturday or Sunday. But absolutely, there have been times that, I always bring up Dennis Dixon when he was in the running for the Heisman Trophy with the Oregon Ducks. And we knew very well ahead of time he was still hurt. And they were saying he was fine. Mike Bellotti said he was fine. He was going to play. The kid lost the Heisman Trophy, and Oregon lost a chance to go to the national championship that night. He got hurt. He fell. The trainers were saying he was fine. I was sitting there looking at him, and the guys, in the booth are watching and calling the game. I went and I started watching the trainer. The trainer is crying as he is working on Dennis Dixon. I'm able to run, get the father, talk to the trainer, all this kind of stuff. I think we are important if you can get the stuff that the guys in the booth aren't able to get to.
Okay.
And I will argue anyone about that.
Okay, one of the great moments that you had was that where you have news unfolding in front of you. Worst sideline reporter moment was what?
Joe Paterno outrunning me on the field. Pre-hip surgery. Yes, it's not a proud day. I realize that. And actually, that was a situation that was terrible. Two quarterbacks, I think Michael Robinson was the quarterback at the time. Both quarterbacks got knocked out. He got taken out off in an ambulance at Wisconsin. It was awful. All Joe Pa wanted to do was get back into the locker room, get the team together, try to get them into a better frame of mind. I went one way thinking he was going a certain way. He went the other. I'm full-on sprint running after him. Not only does, he outrun me, but he also gives me a fantastic forearm shiver that when we got into break, I said, "Did you get that on air?" And they said, "We got it." And I was like, "Oh, God."
Was there a coach, though?
Yeah, that was fun.
Was there a coach you just didn't get along with?
No, and I think that, there were coaches I was kind of intimidated, to talk to, but I loved that because I wanted to try to find a way to crack them. I remember when Charlie Weis was at Notre Dame, and there was a situation that, Jimmy Clausen was dealing with that turf toe. Was he going to come back? It was a huge game against Purdue. They needed it, and they didn't start him, but there was a chance he could come back at half, or, at the second half. And I ran after him at halftime, and I said, I think I asked him in a different way, and he said, "Well, I'm not going to tell you," and I followed him into another question to maybe tell me, and he did. He goes, "Well, we'll probably see him in the second." I said, "Thanks, Charlie, you just told me." But I love that kind of stuff. I think it's great. I think coaches know what a big fan I am and how hard I try, and I try to be disarming, so I love that kind of challenge.
But here's the challenge now. You lose that energy of being on the field, in the game, in the moment, and you're going to do studio. Now, how much studio and how much sideline reporting are you going to do at Fox?
Well, obviously they're still working on some stuff, but you and I talked about that. I love being out on the field. I will be doing the studio show for college football. Very excited about that. I think the one thing I need to learn, and I look forward to doing, is bringing that excitement and all of that into the studio, and then all the contacts and resources I can bring into that. We'll be working baseball, doing the All-Star game next week with Joe and Tim and Ken, and I'm so excited about that. Going to be working baseball playoffs as well. And, yeah, there is NFL. I'm going to be working the NFL sidelines and maybe some other games. So that is a part of it. I had to be very honest with Fox and tell them I'm still the girl that likes to be out at the games, and I'm proud of that. And they're going to try to appease me in both ways, and I'm really thankful for that.
Did you think you got too famous at any point in the last 5 years with ESPN?
Here's the thing with me. I don't even look at it that way. I very much feel like I'm a massive dork. You know that. I just kind of laugh at all of it. There are times when you wake up in the morning and your friends are texting you that your pictures are on TMZ or you're walking through the airport, and you're like, why? I don't get it. Lamar Odom was just on my flight. Why is this such a big deal? There were times that I was just so confused. I get the other stuff with the Dancing with the Stars and everything that happened before, but it was really kind of a joke to me, and I always kind of thought it was so funny how everybody thought, oh, she's planning that, she's behind all this, because I don't know, I don't ever think of myself that way.
Yeah, I wonder, though, I don't think the mothership likes when talent gets too famous there because they feel like, they want to keep you in-house, that we're all interchangeable there. I think you may have gotten too big. Obviously, with the videotape and all the negativity, all that. I mean, that personal. I mean, that's not. You weren't seeking that. The Dancing with the Stars. I mean, there was so much there that it almost seemed like you had gotten so big that maybe that made them nervous. Did you ever feel that way?
There were rumblings about that, but again, I just don't see myself like that, and. Obviously with game day and the kids all coming out and, the signs and all that kind of stuff, I agree. I think it took a new level when you start going to red carpets events. You're playing Dan Patrick's secretary in a movie. But, I mean, you know me, I'm crying outside the hotel as we're filming that movie because I'm afraid of how it's going to be perceived. I never got to the point where I just kind of thought, oh, I'm getting so big. That's just not me. But, yeah, I did hear the rumblings that, hey, maybe they would prefer if you don't, if you're not in the spotlight too much. But it's not like I ever called the paparazzi out to come see where I am or any of that. I'm always so curious why they even care. It's not like I'm Elizabeth Banks, your best friend, you know?
I did like Elizabeth Banks.
I heard and I watched.
Yeah. I mean,
and I was jealous. You heard me.
I had to tell her. I had to whisper to her, Elizabeth, I'm married. And she was a little barracuda, is what she was.
Well, I'm proud of you. I want to know who was the actress that texted you. Or was it an actor? Do we know?
It was an actress who texted me about my movie role and had very complimentary things to say. But
well,
she's going through a troubling time right now, and I think you'll read, she's on the covers of the tabloids right now. So it was just a nice little note. I appreciated that, and that's really where it should end. Okay.
Well, I'm excited. I love the role. That's what ticked me off. I sent the pictures to everyone from the movie set, and your picture was behind everything with those different characters that you asked to be on the show, and everybody's like, "What's Dan doing in the background?" And I would say, "Do you see me on this movie set? This is a picture about me. This isn't about Dan."
Okay, I want you to be honest now.
Okay.
When there was Occupy Game Day, when my name came up, how often did my name come up with Occupy Game Day when I had my audience bring signs to Occupy Game Day?
Your name come up with it with all of us on College Game Day?
Yeah. Yes. Producers.
I can't tell if you're going to be upset if I say this. I don't think it came up very much.
So Fowler didn't bring it up.
I didn't even understand what it was. I was like, what is this?
So producers didn't
say...
say...
not trying to get your signs on air, but I don't think we said Dan.
What about Fowler?
Who we called out? We called out Fritzy. It was his fault. Yeah.
But wait a minute. Fowler didn't take offense to this?
To Occupy Game Day?
Yes.
I don't think so. No. I don't think so.
You're a journalist. You got to be honest here now. Come on. You're gone from the mothership. You can tell me.
I remember it a few times, but it's not like, it was really the topic of conversation. I got to promise you. I mean, yeah, we did try to avoid putting those signs on air, but it's not something that we really focused on too much.
All right. Okay,
focus usually was on, does my hair look good, and what do Kirk suits look like?
Okay, more makeup, time getting made up.
I do. I'm a girl.
No, you or Herb Street.
I do. Boys are so easy.
It's close. It's close. It's close.
It is not.
Who gives more time and attention to how they look, you or Kirk Herbstreit?
I do.
That's a lie. That is an absolute lie.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but no. Those guys, but you adjust pretty quick. You know that you have to be out of the makeup chair as soon as they walk in the door, and you respect that. Coach Corso, yes, sir, get in there, please. Yes, don't worry about half my face is done. Absolutely.
All right, All-Star Game, you'll be interviewing folks. You don't know what your role is.
Are you coming?
What?
Are you coming?
No.
I just assume you go to all the big events.
I'm hanging with my kids. No.
When do you go to London?
The 22nd of July.
Oh, that's great. Are you excited?
I think so. I think so. It's a big job. It's sort of important. So, a little nervous.
You'll be great.
All right. As always.
Thanks for the advice. I appreciate it. Good to be back on the show, by the way.
You're welcome to come in studio. You can be a fifth Danette. You can bring your sister if you want to. We can make it a party if you want to.
The family does send their best. We should do a Brooklyn Chrissy Erin show.
You guys, you can come in.
Well, we'll have to get that done.
All right. Good luck at the All-Star Game, and congrats. Hopefully it's what you want.
I appreciate all the advice.
All right. Thank you, Erin.
All right.
All right. Okay. It's Erin Andrews. I don't know. I think publicly telling a different story than what she told me privately with Occupy Game Day. She's a journalist. She's supposed to be telling the truth there.